What's going on, everybody? My name is Kevin Vidina and welcome to my channel Superpower Review. And on today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys 6 tips on how to save money for your comic book grail. If you guys would like more comic book collecting tip videos like this one, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to show your support. Alright, so for the first tip I'm going to give you, and it's probably the most important one, and that is setting a budget. Once you figure out what comic book you want to collect by the end of the year, you guys want to go to websites or apps such as Go Collect, GPA, or eBay. My personal favorites is definitely GPA. So on there, they will give you the 90-day average of what that comic book is selling for, and they will also show you the last sold price of what that comic book sold for. So I like GPA a lot. You can also use eBay, but if you're going to use eBay, make sure you're not checking out the for sale listings. Make sure you check out the last sold listings, and that will help you gauge more or less what that comic book is worth right at that time. So once you know the value of the comic book at that given time, this will help you set a budget and a plan. Now, another piece of advice I would like to share to you guys is that when you have a budget planned, I would actually recommend, saving a few $100s over that budget because the comic book market is constantly changing. So again, make sure you save a few $100s over your planned budget. Tip number 2. Sell stuff. This is a very important tip, so my suggestion to you is to start looking around the collection, see if there's anything that you can part with. Maybe you're not as excited about that comic book that you have in your collection, or there's a certain collectible, a figure that you have in your collection that isn't, it's just collecting dust. It doesn't mean much to you anymore, and if it's worth a premium, I would highly suggest selling that collectible or that comic book to put in your little pot of savings for your comic book grail. I guarantee you'll make money on any comic book that you sell right now because of how hot the market is. Also take into account shipping fees for when you sell your stuff and any fees that the platform has that you're selling your comic books on as well. Tip number 3, cutting back on New Comic Book Day. We all love New Comic Book Day because of the new adventures some of our favorite heroes will endure. But what price does all these new stories and variant covers come with? Let's just say you're spending a minimum of $25 a week on New Comic Book Day. Now, let's just do basic math here. $25 a week, there's 4 weeks in a month, that's $100, and there's 12 months in 1 year, so that is a grand total of $1,200 that you're spending on new comic books. $1,200 is easily enough money for a big key book, so try to cut back on New Comic Book Day buys or just try to cut them out completely. Tip number 4, no spec buying. It seems like every week or so the MCU or the DCEU is coming out with some new show or movie that's featuring a character that we have not seen yet on screen. So when that happens, everybody wants to jump on the hype train and they want to collect anything and everything with that hot character. But once that character isn't so hot anymore, depending if the movie flops or the show didn't even feature the character that people were speccing on, then those comics or collectibles do not become anywhere near worth than what you paid for. So don't go broke on FOMO. Tip number 5, no mystery boxes. If you're that collector who's buying mystery boxes in order to win that grand prize comic book grail, please stop right now. If you're spending a minimum of $300 on mystery boxes or a mystery box, you're spending a total of $3,600 in 1 year. All this time you could have been taking this money, putting it aside and saving it for your comic book grail and not wasting it on these comic books that you do not need or want in your collection. Now let's say you do win the comic book grail, but you have been buying mystery boxes since you've got back into collecting. Let's just say 2 years, for example. If you have been spending a minimum of $300 a month on mystery boxes, we already confirmed that that's $3,600 in 1 year. Now in 2 years, that is a grand total of $7,200. So again, let's say if you did win the grand prize, you most likely overpaid for that comic book key. Plus, you're stuck with all of these worthless comic books that you have to now spend time trying to sell when you could be spending that time looking for your comic book grail at a great deal. And for our last tip on today's video, tip number 6 is trying to avoid attending Comic Cons where you have to travel to by plane, or if you have to spend a weekend at a hotel, because again, these extra expenses are setting you back from obtaining your comic book Grail. Try to only attend Comic Cons at a short driving distance, and again, only attend these Comic Cons if you have enough money saved for your comic book Grail and if you're going there to buy the key that you're searching for. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today's video. Don't forget to leave me a like if you thought it was helpful, and if you want to see more comic book collecting tip videos such as this one, don't forget to click on that subscribe button. I'm Kevin Vidina for Superpower Review, and I will see you guys next time.